Jordan Rains here with the IDP 411 podcast. Just want to tell you guys today about our sponsor of the show, expandtheboxscore.com. Expandtheboxscore.com has premium NFL and college football stats. They're adaptable, they're affordable, there's all kinds of great stuff on there from the NFL to college football. It's great for people that are in the Devy leagues looking to get that edge over their league mates. So go check out expandtheboxscore.com, proud sponsor of the show. And now without further ado, on to the IDP 411.
What up? Looks like we got popped in early. Good morning. I'm Jared Gray. This is my co-host Jordan Rains with the IDP 411. How you doing, brother? Again, we have Steve in the background doing our producing and getting us ready. We've got a lot coming forward. Obviously, we're going to cover the combine. We've got a guest. Jordan's buddy.
Episode 20, we're getting our first guest on here. That should be interesting. I guess I'll just go ahead and lead and say who it is. His name's Jon Glosser. He writes for Dynasty Nerds. He put out a pretty good piece on Isaiah Simmons the other day. So we're going to have him on to talk, some combine stuff and Isaiah Simmons in particular with us here towards the end. But it's just going to be me and Jared for the first little bit. Going to go over a little bit of the news and some combine stuff before that. I guess we don't want to bury the lead here, but it kind of broke yesterday during the combine about Joe Schobert is not going to be re-signed by the Browns. That's big IDP stuff right there.
Huge, man. I mean, he was an all-pro.
Exactly.
He wanted $10 million. Okay, that's think that is perfectly fine, dude.
Yeah, reasonable.
I don't think he was asking for much at all.
That's the Browns, though.
Bro, I'm surprised. I say get rid of Kursky, keep all-pro Joe. I mean,
well, where do we think?
Maybe they know something we don't.
Who is going to pay Joe? Now that's the question. I'm
Cincinnati.
I'm less concerned about who replaces him, and I'm more concerned about where does this guy end up.
Dude, Joe Mixon tweeted him like right after that. Hey, we'd love you to come over here. He doesn't have to leave the state, so he gets to keep his house if he wants to. Yeah. His family can stay close.
Division. He's aware of what's going down. He doesn't have to, shake anything up. I'm interested in that. I'd be down for that.
Dude, Nick Vigil and him next to each other, give me all that money.
Yeah, and Jermaine Pratt's supposed to be coming up. So.
Jermaine Pratt, too?
Mm-hmm.
Bro, give me that.
I guess that just means if you're in Dynasty League, you want a deep stash, Sion Taki or Mac Wilson. We actually are in a couple
of weeks. The fact that you grabbed him was like,
Yeah, well, it's reactionary. We'll see how it goes down. I mean, he might be cut for too long for my team. So,
I think I have Mac Wilson. You have Taki. So,
yeah. Other big news: Kansas City Chiefs defensive tackle Chris Jones. They said they're going to franchise tag him, right? So, they got him for at least this year. He's going to get a good bit of money, but they couldn't get a long-term deal situated with him. So.
I think they figured it out, though. I mean, he's too much of a must grab.
Yeah, I think that it's just kind of putting a Band-Aid on it, and just they're making sure they want to do it right, especially if he's going to be the impact player that he already has been for them. They're going to want to figure that out. So he had a good year this last year. I mean, for missing a couple of games and whatnot, he still had a really great season. He had a monster season the year before. But he can do it all. I was listening to some or seeing some people talk about Chris Jones, and he's kind of a do-it-all defensive tackle. I mean, he's not scared to go up and bat balls down. He can rush the passer. He can stop the run. He's not just a this or that guy. So
there's so many big free agents. Again, we talked about this. We'll do a free agent show but like you said, I think a lot of it opens up come Monday. I think we really see what's going on. I mean, the free agency market doesn't hit till mid-March, right? So can't really sign anybody. But Yannick has something, right?
Yeah, I saw Yannick's been tweeting. He's kind of probably the biggest, in my opinion, free agent pass rusher. I mean, Everson Griffin's on the market, Robert Quinn's on the market, Clowney's on the market, but Yannick is the young guy. Barrett's on the market, but I think they're going to keep him. He's not young. But Yannick has been tweeting less cryptically. He said he's got to tell us the world something Monday. So we're recording this on Sunday, March 1st. guys. So you'll probably hear this tomorrow on March 2nd. But as of right now, we don't know where Yannick's going to go. I've had, the Bills have been kind of my hopeful spot for a while, but I've heard – I don't know.
Get Jordan Phillips up.
Yeah,
they're going to let him walk.
And I think Shaq Lawson's on the free agency market too. So if they sign Yannick, there's a pretty good chance that they don't bring him back. So, but that's kind of my ideal spot for Yannick. I could see him on Miami too. They could use a pass rusher. The Dolphins. If they're going to get Tua, they might as well get this defense built up a little bit too, and just play that game.
I've been saying this. I think it's Dallas.
Yeah. I don't think they can.
Robert leaving, DeMarcus Lawrence getting older.
They've paid Jalen Smith. They're giving Dak, whatever they're doing with the Dak situation, he's going to get a bunch of money this year, either long-term, short-term, whatever. They just gave DeMarcus Lawrence about a lot, too much.
Yeah, that was 2 years ago, though.
Yeah, but he's still on the books. You know what I mean?
Tell me this. Okay, he's tradable.
Yeah, well, I'm about that.
Who would you rather have, Yannick or DeMarcus Lawrence?
I would rather have Yannick. I would like to have both of them. Or both of them. Or get rid of Yannick and keep Robert Quinn. Or not Yannick.
Dude, here's what I'm doing, and I'm going to do this all day. Buy DeMarcus Lawrence. we're going to sell you. Have a good day. I'm going to bring Yannick and Ndamukong Suh in. Because every time Ndamukong Suh does something, his opposite blows up.
True.
So that's what I'm doing. I think I keep bringing Dallas up for a lot of different reasons, but I think it's because they've been such a main focus, when I was younger. It's not that I was a massive fan or anything.
They're just not afraid to make a splash, kind of like the Rams. And so that would be a splash.
They just have a lot of positions I feel like that they can move in on. And I think that's one of them. Who knows what San Francisco does? I don't think they get crazy, but I'm hearing, obviously Eric Armstead, they're trying to let him go. I don't know why you would keep what's his face that got hurt last year, Quan Alexander, when you got Drake Greenlaw sitting in the wing.
Mm-hmm. And you
got to pay one, you don't got to pay another.
Yeah, I don't know what the contract situation is there, but they've probably put themselves in a situation where they have to keep him, unfortunately. But whatever. You can never have too many linebackers, especially good ones. So I guess we should roll into some of this combine coverage here. Last night in primetime, we got to watch the linebackers and the defensive linemen and the edge guys all, run their 40s. We got to hear their bench press reps and all that stuff. And there were some guys that really kind of put themselves.
We got 10 guys here that we're going to talk about. We did our top 20. I think what we should do here is go from worst to first. And obviously, first is Simmons.
We'll close the show out with him because we'll talk about him forever.
All right. I'm going to stick with this. He's a mutant. We called him the Wolverine weeks ago. We're staying with it. That dude is a full-on mutant.
Mm-hmm. But
let's go with a guy that I think that, and I'm going to get right to this. So I'm sorry, man. AJ did not have a very good combine.
Yeah, AJ Epenesa.
40-yard dash, 5'4". Bench press 17 reps. Well, come on, dude. Are you a wide receiver? His vertical is okay. I'm okay with the 32. He's a tall dude anyway. So 32-inch vertical with being as tall as he is. A 115 broad jump. His three-cone was slow. His 20-yard shuttle, 4.46. Now, he did his 10-yard in his 40 was, I don't know, like 1.7, which isn't crazy fast, but I don't need him to go 30 yards, 40 yards. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I need him to play.
Yeah. He definitely, those numbers, he's put on tape that he's an elite, pass rusher, obviously. But you did expect more. I think everyone did, from the broad jump to the bench press, especially for a guy that's, a power guy. I expected more out of the bench. He's got long arms.
So my thing with the bench press, and I will continue to say this, if you got a huge wingspan,
it's not fair.
20-something reps is a lot of reps because those short stocky dudes, boom, boom, they can pop them out, right? I have long arms, so I understand having long arms and doing a bench press.
Yeah, it's a lot more distance.
But 17, bro, I'm disappointed, especially when I'm watching guys like Kenneth Murray do 20 plus.
Yeah. I'm seeing people say Epenesa might have fallen out of the. Yeah, 5-second 40 is definitely not great. That's not super explosive. I mean, that's the bottom line. I mean, we had guys that were D tackles that were crushing that number. I definitely wanted more there. The tape is still good, but I'm seeing people say that he could potentially have fallen out of the first round and maybe into the late second with this combine showing. People like, oh, don't be overreactionary to the combine. But in my mind, that's what it is. It's the last best chance to make an evaluation. So if you aren't willing to change your previous evaluation, why are you even watching it?
Yeah, we talked about that with Orlando Brown. He was the first-round draft pick, had a bad combine, dropped to the third round. But thing is look at his tape. He's been phenomenal. Right? He hasn't allowed a sack in 2 seasons with the Raiders. He didn't allow a sack at Oklahoma. Right? So the combine can hurt you draft-wise. It can hurt your pay.
Yeah.
But I always say look at the tape. And Epenesa can ball. So he's smooth. I think he has a better pro day. I think he reruns that 40 and runs in the 4.8.
Cleans it up a little.
So,
let's talk about another guy who had a pretty decent day. And Zack Baun here. He was the linebacker playing for Wisconsin. He's been an edge rusher, but people have been saying that in the NFL he might move into a more traditional middle linebacker type of role. I'm not, a talent evaluator. I can't say whether that's good or bad, but his 40-yard dash time was 4.65. I mean, that was one of the better ones.
I'll take that all day. 4.65.
24 on the bench rep. That's good. 32-inch vertical. That's acceptable. Broad jump was pretty good. He had a pretty good looking day. When I saw him run the 40, he looked good. We saw him at the Senior Bowl. I mean, he was the guy that there was a lot of buzz around him. There was a lot of people going out of their way to watch him, to be near him, to speak to him. Scouts were, it seemed like the line to talk to him was kind of big.
I saw exactly what I wanted to see out of him. I wanted to see him run a 4.6. Right?
Exactly.
And if he ran a 4.6, I was down.
Yeah. He looks like he could.
24 reps.
Yeah. Powerful, and he stayed healthy. He looked good out there to me. I think he's, people are projecting him to be in some spots I've seen him go in the first, some spots I've seen him go in the second, but he doesn't seem
I think he's going to be a low second guy, but we'll see. I think you only see 3 or 4 linebackers go in the first round, especially with maybe linebackers are on free agency right now. So
yeah.
I think it depends, but we'll see. I'm with you. I'm big on Zack Baun. He had a good day. So let's go with Curtis Weaver next.
Yeah, boy.
Got to get through these.
Yep.
32-inch vertical. Right. He didn't run right, so we talked about that.
There was a couple of guys that did not run.
3 cones, 7 seconds, 20-yard. I mean, honestly, he had a very similar thing to AJ. But I expected this out of Curtis Weaver. I did not expect that out of AJ Epenesa. So I'm okay with this. I'll be honest with you, I'm okay with Curtis Weaver doing what he did. I still think he's a late first, early second, mid-second guy. So we'll see what happens with him.
Yeah, he's versatile too. He could play a little bit of coverage. I saw him in some of the – I think he was standing out in the coverage drills. It was him or the what was his name? I don't think we're going to cover him, but there was another guy that I was kind of watching that was doing a little bit better than everybody in the coverage drills. But with having my kids, I was kind of missing some things too whenever they were needing macaroni and cheese and all that. You know how kids are.
Kids do that.
Yep.
I know a guy that you've been really high on that we're going to get to, Malik Harrison.
Yeah.
40-yard dash run, 4.6, 36-inch vertical, 122 broad jump. That's inches, guys. 6.8 3 cone, which is nice.
Mm-hmm.
And a 4.32 20-yard shuttle.
Yeah. To hit a
4.63, 250 pounds.
To hit 4.6, he was scooting. He was moving.
He was moving.
He's the guy that I think, so kind of to me, I want to if I'm not getting one of these top 2 or 3 linebackers, Malik Harrison is going to make it off my team because he could be like the sleeper guy of this group, for IDP especially, just, tackle machine. Just boom, boom, boom. He can get behind the line of scrimmage. He can move sideline to sideline. He's fast. I mean, he ran a 4.66. I mean, that's not bad. I mean, there was a lot of guys that ran a lot slower than that and that were a lot smaller than him. You wouldn't have expected him to be quite that.
We were talking about the lead tacklers ran a 4.6 and faster
Mm-hmm.
in the NFL last year. And so I want to see 4.6. If I can see 4.5 out of a linebacker, if I'm lucky to see a 4.4, I mean, we only had 3 or 4 guys that broke 4.5 were in the 4.5s.
Yep.
But, and we'll get to the, obviously our top 3 are that way. And I don't think our top 3 has changed, right? I mean, we expected it, so it'll stay that way.
They're still locked in for sure.
A guy that I think we're wondering what he had an okay combine, but not a phenomenal combine, would be your boy Bradlee Anae. Again, you guys did an interview with him. He, good, solid dude.
Mm-hmm.
I did not – his 4.93, I did not see that coming.
Yeah, I thought he would be a little bit quicker on that. But he was also the first guy to lead off in all the drills. Yeah, when you look at his tape, I mean, he had 25 bench reps. That was good to me, especially as, a 6'3", 250 guy. His broad jump was good. His 3-cone was a little bit slow. But when you watched him in the other drills, particularly the one where they were running through, he was one of the tightest guys around those corners.
One of the smoothest dudes, for sure.
100%. And the way his hand movement was so fast. It was lightning fast. There was a lot of guys you could see their hands were kind of waving around. I mean, everything Bradlee Anae did was like inside. Like he was almost like a fighter. You know what I mean? Like keeping himself small, like getting in and out of these cuts. And you saw that when he went around the figure 8. He was so quick around that and looked so good. And then when they did the one drill where they had to go through the bag side to side and then back and forth, his footwork coming through the back and forth, I mean, I thought he was the fastest.
He didn't touch his feet. His legs were perfect in that.
No extra movement at all. I mean, everything it was like he was like a machine. It was like there was no hesitation, no thought. He just did it. And I really liked that, I mean, personally. And that seems like how he plays football too. I mean, he just very – and he even brought that up in our interview. He said, he's like, I know my shortcomings. He's like, but I also know that I'm probably the most technically proficient pass rusher in this class. And I was just like, okay, like throw down the gauntlet. And I mean, he looks like
and that's exactly what he wants to say. I mean, honestly, and we've talked about this, I've been an AJ Epenesa fan, okay? But I'll be dead honest with you. After watching, and I've watched a ton of tape lately, dude, Bradlee Anae's number 2. For me.
I think he's definitely had a better combine.
AJ Flip. Right? I mean, he looked really good at the Senior Bowl. I think the Senior Bowl got him paid. I truly believe that. It's kind of like Darius Leonard. Like Darius Leonard got paid because of the Senior Bowl. Right? He had like 11 or 12 tackles at the Senior Bowl.
Yeah.
He just had an average combine. He got Indianapolis, they said, we watched him at the Senior Bowl. He showed out at the Senior Bowl. That's why we took him. Bradlee Anae showed out at the Senior Bowl. He had 3 sacks in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Right? He was blown by people every day in practice. He got paid in the Senior Bowl. Another guy who got paid in the Senior Bowl, right, is a guy we're going to talk about who, without a doubt, our top 4 and is a freak, is Neville Gallimore. Because that dude straight balled out.
Yeah,
23 reps in the rep, and he was a little kind of cockeyed on the bench press. Still did 23 reps, 4.97 3-cone, 5-second 20. I don't care about those.
4.79,
4.79 40. Bro, that is 300 plus. By the way,
yeah.
Let's not talk about
300-pound boy. I mean, he was beating out linebackers. Some of these linebackers that were running. I mean, he beat Epenesa by a bit. So. He's explosive. It
just shows you, and we've said this before in a previous show where they were using Neville Gallimore his first 3 to 4 years not correct, and then who knows, he could be an edge guy.
Yeah, his 3-cone, his agility stuff was not great, But I mean, again, maybe he just tests poorly there because I mean, you put on the tape, he looks very agile, and he's fast and he's good with his hands. So
he's a freak, dude.
Yeah, he's one of the best prospects in this class. New name for him. I think he's gonna definitely be in the realm of that first round pick area. Or not?
He's from Canada. I'm gonna have to figure out a name for him. Maybe Mountie. I don't know.
I saw him called Canadian Bacon on. Somebody called him Canadian Bacon.
Canadian Bacon.
I like that.
That's all.
All right, we gotta get through a couple more of these guys. Let's hit up Derrick Brown, 40-yard dash over 5. Not super great, but the bench press was good.
He did not have a good combine.
Yeah, vertical jump 23, broad jump 108, 3 cone. I mean, that's not great, but he still seems.
He's 330 though.
Yeah, he's a big boy. He's 6'5" too, so it's a little hard to be agile when you're swinging around that kind of length with your arms and your legs and your torso and stuff. So
I would like to see him to get to like 308.
Still seems to be the consensus overall DT1.
I don't know. Neville Gallimore might have moved past that. It's going to be interesting. And I'm with you. Derrick Brown's been a beast, right? He has really good tape. And I think Gallimore's tape, when you actually see him this last year, he had like 28 quarterback hurries from the defensive tackle position. That's ridiculous. So I think Neville Gallimore definitely moved in the first round no matter what. If he wasn't already in your first round, he was in my first round.
Yeah,
he definitely has moved in there.
I think he needs to stay there. Agreed. We got a couple more of these guys we need to cover. You want to do Patrick Queen next?
Yeah, I think Patrick Queen is the guy we got to talk about next.
Yeah.
A flat out 4.5 40, which I think even I was a little surprised, but I knew that him and Murray were going to be pretty close to each other. 18 reps on the bench was a little shocking to me because he comes downhill, which we'll show that in the 4.5 flat 40. The vertical 35 inches, broad jump. He had a good broad jump, 125 inches. So if you guys don't know, it's like, I don't know, 10.8 or something like that. So
yeah, that's big.
Yeah. Big move. We got Jon Glosser coming in here soon. So
yeah, guys, we're going to finish up with one. We're going to talk Kenneth Murray real quick too, and then we'll hop into Isaiah Simmons with Jon Glosser from Dynasty Nerds. Simmons 4.52, or not Simmons, Murray 4.52, 40-yard dash, 21 bench. He looked like a big boy out there on the field.
Bro, he's 6'2", 240. He's 20 pounds. He's almost 20 pounds more than Patrick Queen. He ran almost the same 40.
Yeah, 129 broad jump, 38-inch vertical. Unfortunately, he and Queen both appeared to tweak their hamstrings or tweak. I don't know. We haven't gotten an official report yet on their second run at the 40. And they were both running ahead of Isaiah Simmons, and he opted out of his second 40 after watching both of these other potential first-round picks injure themselves. So they were the only injuries I saw at the combine, and it sucks that they were both, IDP guys, essentially, dudes that we as the IDP army, the reps, we want. So,
well, they had the one guy who hit his arm on the the vertical jump.
Another linebacker though, or DL guy. I was like, why is this stuff's not happening?
He had a good people. Yeah, he was having a good combine. So I mean, that sucks.
All right, guys, we're going to try to bring in Jon Glosser now to talk with us about his article he wrote on Dynasty Nerds. I don't know if he's got a camera or not. I guess I'm just going to try to add him. We might just get the voiceover. So, Jon, are you with us, man?
Jon, are you here?
Maybe his mic.
Maybe reach out to him, see if he's there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we can go ahead and start talking about Simmons, I guess. He pretty much blew up the combine.
I think everybody wants to know, right? Simmons, the Wolverine, he's a mutant, bro. Like a 4.39. He might have just let's just put this dude on because this is ridiculous. 4.39 40, a 39-inch vertical. I think this is wrong. I thought he would jump to 41. I'm gonna have to have Steve check this for me. I might have messed up here, but I think he jumped a 41-inch vertical. I'm almost positive. Broad jump, ridiculous number. Let's bring our Goss and see if he can hop in here. John, are you with us right now?
Yeah. Hey, how's it going? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Yes. Again, we got John. All right, with some technical difficulties with my man John.
Yeah,
Jon Glosser, senior writer, Dynasty Nerds.
Gonna talk with us about Isaiah Simmons, guys, who we just started talking about. John, what did you think about that 40-yard dash last night?
Oh, I mean, that guy's he's a mutant, like a robot. It was nice to see. I think he had a little back and forth with Travis Etienne on Twitter about how he's never beat him in a 60-yard race, but he is fast. But to just show that speed, and I heard a little bit before I was with you. I'm really glad he didn't run a second 40. There was really no need to.
Oh yeah, there was, like you said, there was no need to. And when his biggest competition goes out in front of him, I mean, stop. Call it a day. That was incredible, though. 4.39. I've read somewhere that was the third or fourth fastest 40-yard dash by a linebacker any of all time in the combine.
Yeah, I think Shaquem Griffin's 4.38 was that was the fastest since that. I think it was a couple years ago.
And I think Bobby Wagner I saw ran also like a 4.39 or something similar to that. So that's what's up. Simmons, though, when you looked at him yesterday, when he was lined up about to run, you can see the safety in him. I mean, you can see the tall, like the lankiness, the ranginess. I was honestly, when I saw him lining up, I was like, I didn't think he would run that fast. Just looking at him. What were you guys' thoughts, like physically watching him in the combine?
That straight line speed is just on another level. I think when I broke it down in the Game Records article I wrote about him, it's just it's very, very rare that you see an athlete like that can line up as linebacker and safety and kind of look flawless. I mean, I think he has a little more holes as a true linebacker than he does as a deep safety. But yeah, he just looks so fluid on the back end. I think a little bit more than, down towards the line of scrimmage. But I mean, make no mistake about it, he causes a lot of problems at the line of scrimmage as well.
Yeah, definitely agree. You want to tell us a little bit about your article? What made you want to write about Simmons?
It's I was kind of like a little inspired by the the Peyton's Place that I watched with J.J. Watt and Peyton Manning. It's on ESPN Plus for anyone who hasn't seen it. But so rare in this game that you get a linebacker, a second level guy that can just cause such havoc. I mean, Derwin James was one, but Derwin, I think, he had a lot of lazy tendencies in college, where Isaiah Simmons, just his story and how just immensely talented he is, and to move multiple positions. I think Tyrann Mathieu and Budda Baker are two in the game right now that move around so much, in their defensive schemes. But Simmons, to do it for a program like Clemson, who's been in multiple national championship games, and to win the Blitnikoff after moving to linebacker, he had to move to deep safety or in the secondary for all the underclassmen that ended up leaving after they won the first national championship. So he's just, I mean, like he's one of those rare guys that you knew he was going to test well when you watch him play, but then when you turn on the tape, like everything that you think of how good he is, it just it just shows itself when you watch him on film.
Yeah, he is the full package for sure. Jared watches a lot more college football than me, so he probably can agree with you as to the difference maker that he was for Clemson, especially during a couple of those runs.
I mean, like I said, he's my number one. I've said this from the get-go. He's my number one player. I said this 3 weeks ago during another show. I expect him to be exactly what he did. I mean, I expected a low 4.4, even possibly 4.340 out of him. I think he's the best athlete in the draft. I said this, I know that a lot of people say Chase Young's the number one. Honestly, if I'm picking today, I'm not even talking about who I'm picking. It is one person and one person only. And Isaiah Simmons.
Are you talking?
It's going to be one where he goes.
IDP? Because for me, I think that is another interesting debate for IDP.
I'm both.
Well, I'm not a draft expert, so I'm not going to argue the merits of who should be taken first in real life. But for IDP,
I'm trying to figure out what's going on with John's mic. Sounds like he's sipping or chewing on something.
Yeah, no, it sounds good now. But
that's better.
What do you think, John? Do you think Chase Young should be the first taken IDP, or do you think it should be Isaiah Simmons?
It's I don't know, like linebacker has just always been king for so long, but 4-3 DNs are really, really hard to come by. Obviously, for most of us that play in the more hardcore IDP, you notice over the years when you had Khalil Mack as like a 4-3 D end, it was, like gold, and then Chandler Jones. And then when those guys go to 3-4 rush linebacker, you feel like your heart's broken. So I think like for Chase Young, assuming that, Ron Rivera goes, keeps the 4-3 with that defensive line that they have there. I mean, if you have that guy as a 4-3 D end, it's really hard to pass on him, especially when you watch, when you watch Chase Young play, there's very few people who can destroy a game like him. Isaiah Simmons, though, is that like that chess piece. I thought it was awesome yesterday too, or when they asked him at the combine, what position he plays, and he just responds with defense. So he's a rare breed that I think could fix multiple levels of your defense so fast. So in that regard, I really don't disagree that if you take Simmons over Chase Young, it's just a lot of the draft pundits would probably
it's just
have
like
heads for saying that.
It's just like he just feels like he can't miss, because if he misses in one spot and one scheme, it doesn't matter because he's not leaving the field. He's going to go do something better than somebody else at another spot. You know what I mean? And for IDP, that's the thing. Like I was sitting and laying around last night just thinking about it, like he's never going to come off the field. Like he'll literally he'll play every snap next season probably. And he'll probably rush the passer. He'll probably play in coverage. He'll probably play middle linebacker. And just knowing that he offers you a variety of ways to score in IDP, that's the thing that I like most. That's why I love Jamal Adams. I love Tyrann Mathieu. Tyrann Mathieu's not going to get me 100 tackles, but Tyrann Mathieu's going to get me 70 tackles and then a bunch of other stuff. You know what I mean? And it's going to make up for that. You're just traditional strong safety, like a Sean Williams, who's not going to get me much except maybe 100 tackles. You know what I mean? Or Antoine Bethea. So Isaiah Simmons, to me, he represents such a solid floor and so much upside. I mean, what if he has 4 picks and 4 sacks? That's not out of the question for him as a rookie. You know what I mean? And has 100 tackles. I mean, Chase Young, whatever Chase Young does, I bet it won't, I don't know if it can look like that.
Yeah, I'm with you. Here's my question. Somebody brought it up, where does he go? Where does he get drafted? Now, I'm going to throw this out for you, and we've been talking about this. Chase Young's the guy, this and that. Who's the one player that we compared him to?
Tyrann Mathieu.
Luke Kuechly, right?
Well,
no.
Compared to Luke Kuechly.
When you're talking about a pure athlete, he's 3 times the size Tyrann Mathieu is.
Yeah.
Right? He's a player that can roam and cover and everything. Right? Luke Kuechly can cover. He can come downhill. Okay, who's the one coach that coached Luke Kuechly over the last couple of years? Ron Rivera. The Redskins have the number 2 pick. Okay, I got to see one guy. I didn't get to see another guy. Right, one guy's a freak. I don't know exactly what I'm getting with Chase Young. They already have a pretty good defensive line. We've already talked about this.
This is true.
They do not have phenomenal linebackers.
No, they do not.
How is Isaiah Simmons not right on Ron Rivera's radar right now? I mean, he has got to be right in the middle of his head right now. Okay, this guy looks like Luke Kuechly. He's faster than Luke Kuechly. He can go anywhere I want to put him. He is a perfect mold to play linebacker with the Washington Redskins, and I'm almost willing to bet on it at this point. So, John, what do you think about him going to the Washington Redskins, changing everything? Let's just pop it up right now.
Yeah, I mean, dude, those are great points, especially with, Luke Kuechly being able to run around Rivera defense for so many years now and do it consistently and put up great IDP numbers. That defensive line, they've just I think that's what most the draft people community have had. Washington investing another pick into the defensive line because when it comes down to paying all these guys, you're not going to be able to keep them all. But, a guy like Chase Young, when you look at, kind of the generational talent tag being, attached to him and everything, that's not a guy you're going to be able to let go. Think of how high the cap number for a defensive lineman, a stud defensive lineman, will be at that time. But, I mean, if you're looking to compete right away, which – I don't know that Washington really is, but if you are, Simmons is the guy because you already have a stud up front, and he will be able to just rack up tackles like crazy. It is crazy how just right after the combine, it was, pre-combine, just all Chase Young, and now it's like, I know a lot of people like hot takes, but a lot of people are talking, Isaiah Simmons should be, top pick overall or top 2 overall. I never doubted he was a top 10 talent, but that combine is just kind of so awesome to see him really getting the recognition he deserves.
Yeah.
Well, like you said, Derwin James dropped, and, he was still top 10 guy, but Derwin James was the freak, right? He was the big guy. But we're talking about a guy who we know can play the linebacker position, right? I knew that, Derwin James was going to play safety. That's where he was best known at. I think Isaiah Simmons is good at, mid to outside linebacker. Let him rove. Ron Rivera moving to Washington is the difference for me. If he would have stayed at Carolina, I think he goes to Carolina. We brought this up. I thought he was going to Carolina. But after doing a lot of thinking about this the last couple of days, I really believe that could be a high possibility for him. And they got the number 1, 2 pick. I've got a guy who's willing to show his talent at the combine, and I got a guy who's just sitting back, not showing his talent. I'm sorry, and I know Steve's is upset about it. He's an Ohio State fan. I'm taking the guy that looks like the generation player.